What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Devin and I'm the host of Let's Play Survivor. In today's video, I will be doing a tier ranking list based on my favorites going into Survivor 50. I have defined these players into 5 categories. The first category being my favorites, obviously self-explanatory. The second category being the people I am excited to see again. The third category being, yeah, I like you, you're fine, don't have a strong feeling either way. The fourth category is unbothered. These are the players who I'm not super excited to see going into 50, but it's fine that they're there. And then the fifth category is why. Why are you going to be on my screen again? These are the players who I feel strongly that I wouldn't personally cast on the season 50, and I'm not super keen on them coming back. No disrespect, no hate towards anybody. So yeah, let's get into the video. So I'll be using tiermaker.com to outline the 24 contestants for Survivor 50 into the 5 categories. It will be going in alphabetical order, starting with Angelina. Angelina is somebody who I am super excited to see come back for 50. She was a very entertaining and charismatic player on David vs. Goliath. She's not one of my favorites, although she is right there within the threshold. I would defer her down to the excited category. And just to preface, I will be trying to put these players in specific 1 through 24 rankings based on who I am the most excited to see and who I could really care less about being back. Number 2 is Aubrey. Aubrey is fine. I'm going to put her in the unbothered category. I feel like I have gotten enough of her in her first 3 seasons. Aubrey should have won Survivor Go Wrong, in my opinion. She was fine on Game Changers and then Edge of Extinction. She really just had a stinker. Aubrey's a player who's not going to add a lot of character value to any cast that she's on. She is a player who has more strategic value than anything, and while that's fine, I feel like we could have gotten that from a lot of the new era players or somebody who hasn't played for this now being her 4th time. She's fine. I feel like she could do well, or she could have another stinker. You really never know. Although with that being said, I'm not super excited to have her back on the show. I just feel indifferent, really. Our next castaway is Charlie from Survivor 46. Charlie is someone who I really did not like very much on his original season. Much like Aubrey, I feel like he should have won the game over Kenzie. No disrespect to her. But yeah, I was not a super big fan, although with a little bit of separation between Survivor 46 and now, I have come to respect his game, and I actually like Charlie a lot more than I originally did, and for that reason, I am excited for him to come back. So yes, he's going to be in the excited category, tier 2, just behind Angelina. Our 4th castaway is going to be Chrissy from HHH. She is, as we all know, she got extremely screwed over by production due to the Final 4 fire-making twist. She is very much deserving. She is one of the most iconic players and women of the 30s. I'm going to slot her just behind Angelina and Charlie in the excited category. All right, 5th is Dr. Christian Hubicki. Christian is someone who I am ecstatic to see again. Not only am I excited to see him back on my screen, I will consider him one of my favorites going into Survivor 50. I'm not sure if he is my first, second, or third favorite. There are 3 significant players who are battling for those top 3 slots, but for now, he ranks as number 1. Next up is Sari Fields, and so I feel like the internet's going to come after me for this one. I love Sari, do not get me wrong, but going into 50, while I am excited to see her play, I just saw her 6 months ago on Survivor AU versus the World, and while she is likable and very fun to watch, I feel like we're going to get pretty much the same thing that we always do from Sari, a heartbreaking vote out, if you could ever really call it a vote out. We will see if the majority will, for the first time ever, be able to take her out. I understand why she was cast on a season 50, and I do love her game, but I'm going to place her here in the 3rd category. Yeah, I like you. Next, we have Coach. Coach is a player who I really did not enjoy for the longest time. The whole cult-like alliance from Survivor South Pacific put a bad taste in my mouth, and I really did not love that season as a whole. Although in retrospect, with a little bit of time on our side, I have grown to really enjoy the character of Coach. He's always been the same guy, really, but He showed a lot in South Pacific, his third time out, and be mindful that he played 3 seasons pretty quickly within a couple years. We have a big gap between his most recent appearance, and so I wouldn't say I'm necessarily excited to see him back, but I will put him in the yeah, I like you category, just behind Suri. We're going to go all the way back to the early 2000s with Colby Donaldson. Colby is a player who I really don't need to see on my screen again, and I know that might get a lot of backlash, but he did not perform well in Heroes vs. Villains, and that was almost 15 years ago at this point, and so I just don't think we need to see any more of Colby. He has been on a downward trajectory since the Australian Outback. I understand he is an iconic player, and he is the original Golden Boy, but I just don't need to see him back on my screen. There are a lot of OGs who I would have been much more happy to see on Survivor 50, and having Colby without Jerry just doesn't make sense. So he's going to be the first player I put in the Y category, which is my bottom tier of players. D from Survivor 45. I said it on my recast video, D has the potential to be bigger than Survivor. Much like Parvati, much like Boston Rob, I feel like she has the character to transcend this show, and as you might can tell, I am a sucker for D. I think she is the best winner of the 45s and is, in my opinion, a top 10 winner overall throughout the entire series. So, while yes, I am excited to see her back, she is one of my absolute favorites and will log just second behind Christian. Emily Flippin is next. I am pretty unbothered by Emily. I didn't really like her on her original season, although I do understand the reason why she is coming back for 50. I don't really have a whole lot to say, although I do prefer her over Aubrey, so I will put her there in the unbothered category. All right, Miss Genevieve, she's going straight to the top. She is probably going to be third behind D and Christian as far as my favorites. She has so much potential. She can take this game by storm, and I am nervous for her. I feel like a lot of the players understand how good she can be. She is either going to be an early flameout or she is going to be our sole survivor. There's no in between, in my opinion. Genevieve, I am a big fan, and she is going to slot number 3 in my favorite category. Next up, we have the OG from Survivor Borneo, Jenna Lewis. So, I'm going to put Jenna Lewis in the unbothered category, just behind Emily. No hate here. Survivor All-Stars was the very first season I watched in full. I started out as a young boy watching Pearl Islands. I didn't watch it all the way through. All-Stars, probably mostly due to Rupert, was the first season that I watched in its entirety and was the season that made me fall in love with Survivor. And I've gone back and done rewatches. I've just never been a big Jenna fan. She is fine, and I appreciate the duo that she created with one of my favorite players in Rupert. I'm just not super keen on her coming back. I do feel like if you want representation from Borneo, she's probably your best bet. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm pretty unbothered by her being on the show. Next, we have Joe Hunter and Jonathan Young. I keep connecting these two together because they kind of hit the same note as far as my personal preference for them. I understand the reason why they're on the show. They fit an archetype that the casuals love. They are the solid number, the strong alpha male, and they're just going to keep their head down, be loyal to the alliance. Nothing super exciting in my opinion. I'm not going to put them in the Y category because I do believe that they are deserving of a second chance, but neither one of them are really a favorite of mine or somebody that I have strong positive feelings for. So I will put Joe just behind Jenna Lewis and then Jonathan just behind. Yeah, I'll put Jonathan behind Emily. I feel like Jonathan adds a little more to the game than Joe does, so that's why I'll put him just slightly ahead of Joe. Next, we have our duo from Survivor 48, Camilla and Kyle. Camilla doesn't feel like a season 50 fit, in my opinion. She feels much more of a fit for a second chance type season and less a monumental historic season like Survivor 50. With that being said, I will put her in the yeah, I like you category, just between Sari and Coach. yeah, like I said, I would like to see her play again, and obviously we are going to, but I don't really need her on this cast, and I do like her, but I don't feel like she is quite the caliber of player to be deserving of this spot. And then next, I will go with her secret duo, Kyle. Kyle is kind of an interesting choice, in my opinion, for Survivor 50. Again, no hate. I like these two. They were really the highlight of 48, in my opinion. But it just seems very strange to have them back. I don't know. 48 was one of the worst seasons of the new era, and to have so much representation from it is a little bit of a head-scratcher. And while I do like Kyle, I don't feel like he had any super overt or dominating moves. Maybe they were just trying to meet the quota of winners. Yeah, I don't know. So I will put him just behind his secret duo, Camilla, and just ahead of Coach. Next up is the Survivor Jungle Boy, Ozzy. Ozzy is one, dead last. I have no interest. You stunk it up in Survivor Game Changers. He was really a non-entity on that season. I can appreciate the Ozzy of his first 3 seasons. I feel like we had a lot of depth and a lot of growth in Cook Islands, Micronesia, and then seeing him for a 3rd time in South Pacific. Although by the time he came back for a 4th time in Game Changers, there was really nothing left that we needed from Ozzy. I have heard through the grapevines of the internet that he was more of a CBS pick and less a pick by the Survivor production team, which is fine, but for me personally, I don't ever need to see Ozzy on my screen again, so I will put him definitively in last place. We have Q from Survivor 46. Q is someone who I do like a lot, and it's more than just a like for Q. I'm super excited to see him play again. I don't know how much he is going to grow as a player. I feel in my heart that he is a player who comes in with negative win equity, and I just don't have high hopes for him to build upon that, especially watching some of his preseason interviews. He's just a damn goofball, and that's fine, and I can appreciate his character value, but I don't think he's going to be a sole survivor. I don't think he will ever be close, and despite all of that, I am still super excited to see him back on our screen. He is a player who I don't know if I'll ever get tired of. I guess we will see by the time 50 comes around. And I'm going to put him between Angelina and Charlie. Again, like I said, Charlie's somebody who I've grown to like more than I did previously. But Q just has so much entertainment value, and that's why I'm going to put him directly behind Angelina. Our next player on the list is Stephanie LaGrossa. Stephanie is someone who I have never genuinely been a fan of. While I can respect her story, I was always a Bobby John guy growing up. Mind you, I was just a young boy whenever Survivor Palau originally aired. Yeah, I feel like the story of Stephanie has played out. I don't know what more we have to gain from her. Understand and respect her place in Survivor history. And yeah, I just don't think a 4th appearance is necessary. I'm not going to place her behind Ozzy, but I will place her just one spot ahead between him and Colby. Next up is our 20th castaway, Rick Devens. Rick Devens, I am an absolute sucker for. I was a huge fan of his in Survivor Edge of Extinction, and although he did get voted out twice, I'm excited to see his technically 3rd chance at playing the game of Survivor. He is somebody who I feel like is going to go balls to the wall, give it his everything, and is going to be the passionate player that I love to see. I like Genevieve a little bit more, but is a very close toss-up between the two of these here. With that being said, I will put Rick Devens in 4th place on my fan rankings. Tiffany Irvin from Survivor 46. This is one of the big head scratchers on the cast. We have so much representation that we could have had from the new era, and while I do not dislike Tiffany, I was super shocked to see that she was cast onto Survivor 50. And so with that said, I'm going to place her right in front of Emily, although I think she's more on the yeah, I like you, and less on the unbothered, because I do like her. She is somebody who I did enjoy watching. I just was kind of shocked that she's even going to be here. So yeah, next up, our second wild card of the group is Mike White. He is the player who I am most surprised to see on 50. When the cast dropped, I was absolutely stunned that he made it. No disrespect, he played a very good game in David versus Goliath, although there's been a lot of things said about him throwing the final tribal council, which I don't exactly love. And so yeah, he is probably going to go just, I would say probably behind Tiffany. It is an interesting casting choice, and so I will be excited to see how he can do on a second chance. Next up is our 2 representatives from Survivor 49. I am a sucker for these 2 players. I'm a big fan of Rizzo and Savannah. Let's start with Rizzo. He is probably going to go, I would say, just behind Chrissy in the excited category. I just seen him, so I don't desperately need him on my screen like I do some of these other players. And there's a lot of new era guys who I would have preferred being cast over him. But this guy has a fire in his gut, and he has no fear. To watch him hold on to his idol for as long as he did when he was on the bottom, and he was one of the ultimate underdogs, I'm excited to see how his game can change and how he will transition into a season 2 weeks after the end of his original season. And now he's not playing with a bunch of newbies. He's out here with legends and multiple time players. These are the big dogs. I'm curious to see how he can translate. I'm nervous that he is going to have too much ego and it might come back to bite him. But I guess we will see. And so last but not least is Savannah Louie. I am going to let the world know I am an absolute sucker for this woman. I adore everything about her. She is villainous. She is feisty. She will fight. She will fight tooth and nail to do whatever it takes to win. She was such a satisfying winner and probably ranks for me personally second behind Dee in the new era. Obviously, she's going in my favorite category, and it might surprise a lot of people, but I'm going to put her in second place just behind Christian. I know there's been a lot of debate about 1, the winners coming back, and 2, the 49 player representation. I love everything about her, and I feel like she has a chance to be great. I have high hopes that she will be able to adapt and will do very well amongst these legends. Thank you to everybody who stuck around until the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts on my personal fan rankings for the Castaways of Season 50. I plan on doing more tier videos in the future. I had a lot of fun making this video. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It'll really help my growth immensely, and I would really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you. And until next time, the tribe has spoken.